Yes, here we go. It's Friday morning in the Spice Isles, 18th day of, where are we? January? Yeah, 18th day of January, and we've made it through another week. Aren't you thankful, regardless of what challenges you may have faced along the way? We're up and about, we're breathing, we're smiling. Let's be thankful. We've got so much to be thankful for. Pilgrims, this morning, I think sometime earlier this week, and maybe last week as well, I said to you, today's program is going to be a little bit abbreviated. Yeah? And it turned out that abbreviated, you got to be kidding. We have actually gone an hour and a half instead of the usual hour. But so be it. I enjoy when that happens. But this morning, I really do believe that we are going to be a little bit abbreviated. Now, the reason for that is that I had planned on sharing with you something we did last night. On last night's edition of We Chat, we had a lady who I'm describing her as a godsend. Never met this lady, as far as I know. But she was talking about how she came to the aid of three youngsters, pre-teenagers. And it was such, I had mixed feelings about the story because it was sad in one way that that type of thing actually happens in Grenada in this day and age. But at the same time, when you hear how this woman took these kids, these youngsters, under her wings, you can't help but smile and be thankful that we do have such people in this country. Good people. Unfortunately, more often than not, they go unrecognized. Nobody knows they're there. And perhaps that's the way it should be. You know, the scriptures tell us that if we give something to somebody, don't go waving a flag. Hey, I gave so much and whatever to whom everybody. I still believe that once you know who these people are, they ought to be acknowledged and recognized. Unfortunately, I was not able to do all the editing necessary to present that to you this morning. So I think, keeping my pinkies crossed, that I'll run that by you on Sunday morning when we do this weekend's edition of Sundays with George Grant. And I hope you've got that down in your calendar. Actually, it should be ingrained in you by now. Do you realize that when we start our programs, Sundays with George Grant, when we start that in February, we will actually be starting our 15th year of doing that program. Thanks to you and a whole lot of others like you. Yeah, man. We're just going to keep on trucking. Now, let me, before I get started in telling you about this abbreviated program, let me take a look. I can't wait, I can never wait to see what's going on Facebook and the other platforms out there. T.F. Richards is saying good morning to you guys, not just those of you out there in the diaspora, but those of you here at home as well. Carla Briggs says, good morning, Grenada and the rest of the world. Thank God it's Friday. Hey, girl. Yeah, like I said, thank God it's Friday. But come on, look, you're sitting here this morning, so it couldn't have been all that bad a week. Come on, let's be honest. Got something to be thankful for. Ryan is saying, good day, GG. Thank God for another day. Hey, it's nice to see so many of you thankful. don't you ever forget to be thankful. And by the way, Carla says, abbreviated? Are we taking an hour from this morning and adding it on to the weekend? We can do with that extra hour on Saturday for sure. Hey, Carla, please, please, give me a break. I'm on here for 3 hours on Sunday morning, Monday morning, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Is it okay if I have just one day off? And by the way, talking about one day off, 99% of the time, Georgie Porgy works on Saturdays as well. I work 7 days of the week. Been doing that for about 15 years now. So please, bear with me, okay? We're not going to put anything in there on Saturday, at least as long as I can help it for the time being anyway. Bernard Gilbert's also saying good morning to you folks. And Ryan Jabon is saying, time flies, buddy. Ain't that the truth? Have you ever noticed, it seems like the older you get, the shorter the years are. I don't know about you, but I definitely find that to be the case. Time just seems to zip along on a yearly basis, you know. Just imagine a few days ago was New Year's Day. Today we're talking about, what, the 18th day of the month already. Yep. Let's see, Lydia. Hello there, Lydia. The reason why I am a little bit excited when I mention the name Lydia James is because this lady, I don't know if she still does, but I know that she used to work at the Maurice Bishop International Airport. And she's one of our fans here on Gudday Grenada, Grenada broadcast, period. And she sent me a couple of pictures, which, I'm going to share with you this morning. Actually, why don't I wait? Why don't I do that now instead of waiting to show that to you a little later on? This lady is the epitome of creativity. I want you to take a look. She has designed some vases. Everybody knows that Independence is going to be on February 7th, just a very short while from now. And she decided to do something very patriotic. So she created some vases which carry the Grenadian colors. So last night, when she said this to me sometime yesterday, I was in touch with her last night, and I asked her, how do you do this? And she said, real simple. She buys the vases, glass vases, and paints them very meticulously. Doesn't take her long, just a couple of hours to do it. And I said to her, do you mind if tomorrow morning I share this with our viewers, you, the class? And she said no. So folks, I want you to take a look at this. I'm going to put 2 slides up here. The first one shows you 2 vases side by side, and the other, this one will show you one side, and the other will show you the other side. Take a look. Take a look. Nice colors, including my favorite. Well, you can tell I'm wearing green this morning, and green happens to be my favorite color. Sometimes it does get me labeled. People just can't help labeling George Grant. But green, blue, turquoise, certain shades of pink, I'll tell you the this is really interesting. My least favorite color, by the way, my least my least favorite colors are yellow and red. Something they just don't resonate with these eyes of mine. I'm just not crazy about yellow, regardless of what shade of yellow, what tone of yellow. Nor am I of the color red. Sort of agitates me, huh? Anyhow, so there you have one side of the vases from this lady. Now, here comes the really creative part. Take a look. Look at that. 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 Huh? Take a look at that. All in the name of patriotism. She obviously did that with independence in mind. Thank you so much, Lydia. I am really, really impressed. She didn't tell me where you folks could get that stuff. I don't think she did. But anyhow, I'm sure she'll let us know. Congratulations on a job well done, my friend. By the way, Lydia is in Toronto right now, Lydia James, and I hope that she is not freezing her tootsies off. Kind of cold up there. My brother was down here from Toronto last week, and yes, he said they were having a reasonably good winter so far, even though I've heard a lot of people complain a lot. I think the people in the United States have been complaining even more. Places like down in Georgia, they have been complaining quite a bit. And even in Florida, they're not getting the snow in Florida yet. But apparently it's been pretty chilly down there on some days and nights. Okay, so let's get back here now to let's get back here to Facebook. We said hi to Lydia, Ryan, Bernard, and Peter Bishop. Peter Bishop is saying good morning all from Long Island, where it is snowing. Yeah, Pedro. Yeah, it's snowing. Pretty soon we'll be hearing him talk about, oh, I'm coming down to go to Carriacou, right? Yeah, sure. Carla Briggs, :K. I'm not sure what the heck :K is, but anyhow. Anthony DeRigg says, good morning from Brooklyn. Sometimes called Crooklyn. You want to be exported, young man? Don't let the Don hear you talking about a place in the United States like that. By the way, Anthony, I am glad to see you this morning. And let me tell you what, I'm always glad to see you. But this morning in particular, I'm going to run a piece in a little while after the national report, which I think will be of great interest to you. Because it's along the lines of what you have been doing. You know, you've been sending us these homemade videos which make us pause and think back to the days when we were growing up, you know. The foods we ate, the things we did, and so on and so forth. And I'm really getting an awful lot of good feedback about that. People like that stuff. Maybe it's because this program seems to be for older fogies like you and me. I don't consider myself old. 67? I'm just a kid, man. Still a kid. Ask the people who see me walking around St. George's in my short pants. Yeah, man. So Anthony, this piece I got was from the Bahamas, actually. And apparently they have or had pretty much the same culture that we here in Grenada do. Maybe it's just a Caribbean thing. But hang on, I'm not going to give it away. I want you to watch this piece, and I think it runs about 8.5 minutes or so. And we're going to do that after the national report. But it is very, very interesting. And I sat here and watched that and couldn't help but think back, oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, yeah. And I'm sure a lot of you are going to do the same thing this morning. Okay? So, who else is there right now? Ryan says, tell me about retired gent. Okay, Ryan. Retired gent. Don't remember what he's talking about. I probably said something and it just... Jude Francis, I guess he's saying hi to Peter Bishop. He says, Bish, what go on? I like to see people write in dialect. I think it's hilarious. Lincoln Roberts is saying good morning to you folks. Good day, Grenada. Lincoln, you have to learn how to spell good day. Good day is not Godday. It's Gudday. Okay, Lincoln? Cut that? Cut that. Thanks for coming, buddy. When Ryan saw those pictures a little while ago, he went, whoa! And Lincoln says, talented. Yes, Lydia, they think you're talented, girl. And she responds by saying, me too. I'm not a favorite of yellow and red. Uh-huh. See, it's not just me. I don't know. Somehow those are very popular colors around here. Have you seen all the buntings that are already going up for not Carnival, for Independence? Yellow and red are big colors here. Obviously, green is included too. Okay, because it's part of the colors of the flag. But I don't know. Ryan is saying, sail please. I guess Ryan's interested in buying. I don't know. Ryan, if you are, tell her. Lydia says, thank you, George. Yes, it's cold. Always a pleasure, girl. Peter Bishop is there. Lori Bridgman is saying, good morning, comrades. And I think that's about it on, that's about it on Facebook for the time being. As far as the other platforms are concerned, I see you guys out there in Canada, in the United States, in England, in Germany. I haven't seen anybody in China in a little while. You know, sometimes we get folks from China showing up on this map. I have this Google map here that shows me where some of the people are listening. You often hear me reading from that on a Sunday morning, just to let you know, just to acknowledge the presence of people in various parts of the world. But China and Australia, occasionally do see Australia showing up, but I haven't seen them of late. Lydia says, my favorite color is green. Can you imagine that? Yeah. I can imagine that. John Kennison. Hello, John. I bet you're in here this morning to tell us you got lots of sunshine out there in Carriacou. You're not alone. We got the same here. And by the way, he doesn't refer to it as Carriacou. He refers to it as Parish Number 7. Long story. Lincoln Roberts says, my sister Sharon is here, and now I'm hooked. Wait a minute. Lincoln Roberts, Sharon Robert. Lincoln, are you related to Sharon Roberts, Wilshire? Well, what's the other one? She's got a name about a mile long. You know what I'm talking about? Actually, she's on this program every Wednesday morning. Sharon Roberts. I know Sharon's brothers, Kennedy and Vincent, but I can't say that I know Lincoln. I'm not saying I've never met you, Lincoln, but just off the top of my head, I cannot say that I have. Anyhow, so tell me, are you related to Sharon? Um, uh, he says, my sister Sharon is here and now I'm hooked. Uh-huh, it's starting to fall into place now. Sharon's from Pity Martinique, but Sharon has been joining us on this program because we wanted somebody to talk about Pity Martinique. Well, just before she took off for Florida, she went up to Florida a week or so ago, or 2 weeks, whatever. And yeah, she's in Florida. So now this, you tie that together. So I guess Lincoln is in Florida, and Lincoln is Sharon's brother. Send the passport pictures. I want to see. I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding. And he says, yes. Yeah, there he goes. Yeah, Lincoln is Sharon's brother. Yeah. Okay. T.F. Richard says, George, not wanting to stray, but you mentioned the holidays yesterday. I'm here thinking, should we give the thought of making the Monday of Carriacou's Carnival a holiday on the mainland? I don't know. He goes on to say it may just be economically viable. After all, KCM took one from August. It may just it may just be a topic for discussion. Well, listen, I'm game. If you guys, while you're listening to the National Report this morning, if you guys want to talk about that, post some stuff on there on Facebook, and might be able to strike up a little bit of a discussion, which means then this ain't going to be an abbreviated program. Trying to put me on the spot. I don't mind. Oh, here comes Sharon now. Sharon says, good morning, Gigi. I have 9 brothers and 1 sister. Seems that you only know 2. Yeah, I only know those 2 brothers, Kennedy and Vince. Good to see you, Sharon. I bet you're enjoying Florida. Hope it's not too cold. Let me tell you, we got beautiful sunshine here this morning. As always, spent a few minutes sitting on the balcony here looking out over the Carnage and down to Grandance and wherever. Boy, let me tell you, we are so blessed. We are so blessed. And in the coming weeks and months, I hope to be able to share with you a lot more of the beauty of this country. And it's ironic we're talking about that because there is Sharon here right now. And I mentioned this a week or so ago. And she said that when she comes back from Florida, she's going to take me around to see some of the places that are frequented by visitors to this island. That's great, Sharon. Yes, we have a lot of scenic sites, but let me tell you, there's so many other places that are so beautiful on this island, and the majority of people in this country don't even know that they exist. I'll tell you one way of getting to know this country. There's something called hashing. Hashing is something that takes place. I know they used to do it every other week. Sometimes they do it every week on a Saturday afternoon. Somebody goes out on a Saturday morning and marks a trail using flour, I think they do. And in the afternoon, about 3 or 4 o'clock, sometimes hundreds of people assemble, and they go on. It's like a hike. Some people walk it, some people run. And the hash master usually chooses some sort of out-of-the-way place, So You may be going through bushes, you may be on the main road, you may be anywhere. And that is a great, great way to learn about this country. When I first came back here 30 something years ago, I used to hash religiously every Saturday afternoon. Every Saturday afternoon. I gotta tell you a story. Lancipene. Those of you who know Lancipene know there's a lot of what I refer to as pick a bush. You know, the thorns, the bush with a lot of thorns and so on. And at the time, now remember, this is 30 something years ago, okay? At the time, there was a Guyanese lady living here in Grenada. And I was really, really attracted to that lady. I had my eyes on her, okay? And I was very pleased when she showed up for that hash. It was a hash in Lancipene. And I decided, you know what? Come hell or high water, wherever this woman goes on this hash, you know, following the trail, I'm going to be following her. I'm going to be on her tail. Now, she was a little bit younger than I am, and had a lot more go to her than I did. Didn't matter, man. Like I said, hell or high water, I was going to be following this woman. Well, who tell Georgie Porgy to do that? This woman started going through this pick-a-bush that I'm telling you about. And I decided, gotta go, man, gotta go, keep on going. Pilgrims, when I came out on the other side, I looked like Jesus Christ. I had thorns all over my head, and this woman was totally unscathed. You know, she knew how to maneuver herself through these bushes, and I didn't, and I came out like, yeah. Like I mentioned, hashing is a great way to learn about this place. If you want to look like Jesus, go hash in Lancipene. Okay, here. Laurie Bridgman says, George, question for you. When will you get back that gentleman that will be in charge of agriculture? I have a lot of questions to ask him about the way he wants to move that sector. Laurie, you know, hey, I'm going to try as soon as possible. He's promised that he's available. And let me try and give him a call. Let me hold on a sec here. Let me make a little note here to give him a call. Call Dunstan Campbell. Okay. Yeah, spelled it wrong, but I'm gonna call him. Laurie, and see how we can get him back here as soon as possible, and I'll let you guys know. Okay. All right. Oi. 9:30. 9:30. Okay. Let me tell you. Ryan says, ha ha ha. Can see you now, full of pick-a-bush on your anatomy. Forget about the rest of the anatomy. I said head. Okay, Ryan? I said head. Crown of thorns. Folks, first little break, then we'll come back with a national report.
Together with you, our customers, we energize our community.
Together with you, we energize our economy.
We are working together to give our nation a better tomorrow.
With you, we energize our future. Together, we energize our nation.
Thank you for partnering with us as we energize our Speyside.
Redleg, energizing our Grenada. Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try their sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
With free island-wide delivery, Hubbard's Building Supplies and Lumber Departments continue to provide the best quality lumber, steel, tiles, plumbing materials, electrical and general hardware supplies at competitive prices. We continually consult with builders, homeowners and contractors to improve product range and services. Enjoy discounts where applicable, including the use of credit and debit cards. At Hubbard's Building Supplies, Grandance and Lumber Department, Caranage, we offer quality service, affordable prices, giving you the convenient, reliable, free island-wide delivery. Call 440-2087 for all your home improvement and building solutions.
Scotiabank and Republic Bank give Grenada government assurances of job security for workers and seamless transition of operations. Details to this story and more in the National Report. With the details to the news for Thursday, January 17th, I'm Delroy Louzar. The Grenada government has received assurances from Republic Bank Limited and Scotiabank that the jobs of workers will remain secure when the planned acquisition is finalized. Grenada is one of 9 Caribbean countries in which Republic Bank Financial Holdings Limited recently announced plans to acquire Scotiabank's banking operations. At a recent meeting with top officials of both banks, Prime Minister and Minister for Finance Dr. The Right Honourable Keith Mitchell raised the question of job security. In response, the banking officials gave assurances that all Scotiabank staff will transition to Republic Bank and the terms of employment will remain the same. In Grenada, where both banks have existing operations, current staffing arrangements will remain in place for at least 12 months. Attrition is expected to take place over time as the operations merge. It was also noted that a technical services agreement between the banks will ensure collaboration for a period of 18 to 30 months to ensure the transition is smooth and seamless. With Grenada and several of its Caribbean counterparts sharing a single currency, the regional implications of the acquisition are also being considered. Dr. Mitchell, who is currently chairman of the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union, the ECCU, said he will be working closely with colleagues to ensure that all is done in the process of negotiations to safeguard the best interests of the region. Concern has been raised in some quarters about the possible leakage of foreign currency from the countries affected by the acquisition to Trinidad and Tobago, where Republic Bank is headquartered. The bank officials have given assurances that such fears are unfounded, since there are legal and operational restrictions on the movement of foreign currency from subsidiaries to a parent company. Assurances have also been given that the long-standing history of corporate social responsibility will continue, with support for various sporting and other community-based activities. Grenadians are getting another opportunity to apply for vacant positions on board the Carnival cruise lines. The Department of Labor says representatives from Trinity Recruitment Services, Inc., headquartered in Barbados, agents for Carnival Cruise Lines, Apollo Ship, Chandeliers Incorporated, and Fleet Pro will be in Grenada on January 28th and 29th on another recruitment drive. They will be interviewing persons desirous of working in the cruise ship industry. Applicants will be interviewed for placement in the positions of galley stewards, cleaners, waiters, and waitresses. The recruitment process will be held from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. each day at the Grenada National Stadium's Conference Room VIP 215. Interested persons are urged to walk with an updated resume, 4 passport photos, registration fee of US $150, police certificate of character, a copy of their updated passport data page, and copies of training and educational certificates. A $5,000 reward is on offer for information that will lead to the recapture of escaped prisoner Hayden Phillip. Phillip, who is serving a 2-year sentence for contempt of court and has served just over a month of that sentence, escaped 1 week ago. And according to information reaching the prisons, he was seen in possession of a cutlass 2 days after his escape. He is now disguising. Therefore, the public is urged to be on guard.
One of the things that we discovered thus far is that the escaping prisoner he's carrying some tricks. For instance, posing like a young lady, a lady. So I think what we would have to do is do similar to the police. Have some sort of an intel that we can react to his showing or his disposure and probably react similar. So we would catch him off guard.
That's Assistant Superintendent of Prisons, Fimba Charles. 35-year-old Philip, who is from Cherry Hill and who was at one time involved in Project Reach at Her Majesty's Prisons, made his first escape back in 2015 while being taken to court. Inspector Desmond Richard, officer in charge of the Community Relations Department of the Royal Grenada Police Force, says they are heightening awareness and seeking assistance from other bodies.
We have sought the assistance of SGO yesterday and with the tracker dogs. In addition, ASP didn't mention that yet, but K9. And the K9. So the prisoner is also taking the initiative to print a lot of the updated pictures. So you may find in the very near future, pictures will be stocked up, in various communities and villages to ensure that persons get familiar with the face of the person. But we still have to be cognizant that if he's a tricky guy and if he's, trying to change his look, we have to be particular about that too.
You're watching the National Report. Stay tuned. We'll have more news after the break.
We are back with you to continue the work. We need you to improve our Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. On the road to national sustainable development. We're back.
So how can we invest more in the sporting arena to bridge that gap for a lot of young people?
I think there should be more forums like this.
We need to find a way in which to combat that now.
Be a part of the next National Sustainable Development Plan 2035 Contributors Forum at the MacDonald College St. Patrick, January 21st from 7 p.m.
Welcome back. Grenada's new biodegradable alternative is the answer to saving the island's landfill. That's according to the Grenada Solid Waste Management Authority. Litter and waste disposal formed part of discussions during the recent launch of biodegradable products that are being imported to replace styrofoam and plastics. Environment Minister Senator Simon Steele said the transition to biodegradable products is no excuse to become unconscious of littering.
It doesn't remove the issue of littering. And whether you are disposing of irresponsibly a biodegradable cup or a plastic cup, it's still a litter nuisance. And part of the education process that we need to go through in this transition is not to ignore the need for us to be more litter conscious as well. This is not an excuse for us to discard, even if it's a biodegradable item, to discard it irresponsibly.
The current landfill at Perseverance has been the subject of discussion for many years. as government works towards sourcing more lands to accommodate waste disposal. The authority's senior communications officer, Myrna Julian, says the introduction of the alternatives will help to reduce waste and extend the life of the current landfill.
It would serve to reduce quite a lot in terms of the quantities of waste going into our waste disposal facility, our landfills. You would appreciate that at this time, land space is very limited for landfilling. We are in search for new space for landfill development, and it's not showing up any good results for now. So any effort to divert waste from our current facility, and which would help to extend on the life of our Perseverance facility, is certainly welcome. And of course, with the coming into stream of the Non-Biodegradable Waste Management Act and the switch now over from the plastics and the styrofoam to this very impressive biodegradable range of products, would certainly help in terms of keeping waste out of the waste stream.
Julian is hopeful that once Grenada is able to make the transition smoothly into biodegradable products, commercial composting can be considered to preserve a healthier nation.
In waste management, in the not too distant future, very soon, composting, commercial composting can be practiced, and the items that are imported here, they can go back into our food chain, and food chain in a very healthy way.
And finally in the news, with the safety of students at the Victoria School for Special Education foremost in the minds of educators, government has handed over a new bus to the school to assist with safely transporting students from home to school and back. We have the report from Annette Moore.
It's a dream come true, and I can assure you that I'll try my utmost to ensure that the bus is properly taken care of and cared for.
The handing over took place on January 10th at the Ministerial Complex.
On behalf of all of us at the administrative end of the Ministry of Education, it gives me the greatest pleasure, especially as today is my penultimate day. It gives me the greatest pleasure to hand over the keys to this new Toyota bus to the Victoria School for Special Ed. And we pray as Pastor Lacroix would have said, that you would take care of it, and that the children of the School for Special Ed and the education system in Grenada as a whole would be better off for it. So thank you very much, and here is your keys. Good luck.
Today we have achieved, and we are able to say that we now have a vehicle that is safe and that is adequate to transport the children of Victoria School for Special Education. I know that the parents would be elated. I know that all the persons within the community, within Victoria and St. Mark's and Guelph, would all be overjoyed because of what we have achieved today. Our Minister of Education actually took up and stood behind us 100%.
Roberts also had high praise for the outgoing Permanent Secretary, Finlay Jeffrey, for his commitment to ensuring the procurement of the new vehicle in a timely manner to replace the old one, which was more than 20 years old.
On behalf of the Victoria School for Special Education, our staff, students, and the parents, we would like to say thank you to PS and the Ministry of Education. It has been a difficult and long journey. We have been begging, pleading, crying for a new vehicle, and I'm happy that today I'm holding in my hands the keys for our new bus. We no longer have the headache of wondering if our students would get to school and get back home safely.
For the National Report, I'm Annette Moore.
That story concludes the National Report for Thursday, 17th January 2019. Recapping the story making the headline, Scotiabank and Republic Bank give Grenada government assurances of job security for workers and seamless transition of operations. On behalf of the entire news team, management and staff of the Government Information Service, thank you for joining us. I'm Delroy Louzan.
we started the program this morning, I was not wearing glasses. The reason why I had to put these glasses on just a few minutes ago is because I wanted to check here. I wasn't seeing any earrings. Do you know what I'm talking about? I was not seeing any earrings, and I'm not going to go any further. I'll just leave it at that. But those of you who've been with us for the past few weeks know what I'm talking about. Earrings. Okay. Didn't see any. I just wanted to make sure. Get rid of these glasses. Let me get back here to Facebook for a sec. Ashton Fletcher is saying good morning. He's just checking in from Louisville, Kentucky, and he's sending God's blessings, wishing everybody a happy Friday, and sending God's blessings for a blessed weekend to you, George. And we're also getting blessings this morning from Veronica Sandy. Blessings to you. You know, guys, I don't take it lightly when you people send blessings. I really do stop, think, and accept those blessings. Thank you so much. Can never get enough of those around here. Hey, Margaret. Margaret is saying good morning, everyone, from a snowy NYC. She says, I'm late, but a happy Friday anyway. Mags, good to see you. Then she was watching the newscast a little while ago about the escaped prisoner. Margaret says, the story of that escapee is real kicks. Yes. Yeah, Mags. You know, the cops didn't say so in that newscast, but I understand that he's been going around dressed like a woman. Huh? A drag. Never mind. Anthony says, hard to catch that prisoner that escaped, eh? Reminds me of Spider. Who on the live remembers Spider? I don't, Anthony, I don't remember Spider. Fitzroy Adams is saying, good morning, George. I'm looking at the beautiful white snow falling at the moment here in NY. Yes, enjoy. John says, you'll get yourself in trouble, George. Why, John? What have I done or not done? Well, Margaret says, don't worry, your earrings are... Margaret says my earrings are on the way. When we talked about this, I think it was last week or the week before, Margaret promised to send me some earrings. Well, you heard. They're on the way. Hey, I don't need them. I don't see earrings anymore, so I don't need earrings. I mean, I'm only trying to be a copycat. Give me a break. Glenn Andrew Mark is saying good morning. Glenn, you're kind of late. Boy, you missed it. You know, I was sitting here during the newscast thinking, boy, when you're under pressure, you sometimes discover abilities that you never ever thought you did. I started the program this morning by explaining to you that the program today would be abbreviated because something I had planned on sharing with you this morning just didn't pan out, okay? And I was a little bit concerned about the fact that, geez, how am I going to carry a whole hour if I'm not able to get that segment in? Let me tell you, boy, if you believe, if you trust in God, things do pan out. I realized this morning that I actually sat and spoke with you one-on-one for the first half hour of the program. You missed that, Mags, but for the first half hour, it was just you and me. Huh? Just you and me. I discovered something I could do that I never thought I could. Thank you, Lord. Anyhow, folks, now, we're going to have some fun for the next few minutes, okay? I'm going to take a little break here, and when I come back, we're going to talk a little bit about some stuff that many of you have probably long forgotten. Well, we're going to bring back some memories. Hang in there.
Grenadian General Insurance Company, strength and stability. Grenadian General Insurance Company. Tell your friends, tell your family. We cover householders comprehensive, motor and even fire too. Contractors all risk burglary, public liability, professional indemnity, directors liability, and wait, we still have more. Come and find out more what you're waiting for.
We are located on Scott Street, St. George's. For more information, call 440-2434.
Tell everybody.
Hey, Lynn.
Hey, neighbor.
Here's the bill I asked you to pay for me.
How did you get your electricity bill to be so low?
For one, we size our transformers just for what we need. And we Hey, Lynn.
Hey, neighbor.
Here's the bill I asked you to pay for me.
How did you get your electricity bill to be so low?
For one, we size our transformers just for what we need. And we unplug transformers, chargers, and other devices when they're not in use. We also replaced our light bulbs with LEDs.
They burn less energy, right?
Much less. I even replaced the seal on my refrigerator door to keep the cold air in.
And Grenlec is always advising us not to open the fridge too often.
That's right. And my family washes and irons in bulk.
With fuel prices changing all the time, how do you know if it is working?
We pay attention to the usage history table. Over time, our average usage has decreased.
So while Grenada can't control fuel prices, I can conserve energy and save money.
GRENADA, energizing our Grenada.
All right. Okay, folks, here we go. Saddle up, pony up, whatever you're going to up. Now, how many of you remember the kerosene lamp, Singer machines, the face pan, the coal pot iron, bush tea, the grater for grating coconut, the straightening comb, stuff you used to place on a little fire there when it gets hot and thing. Remember that? The skipping rope. Let me start by saying thank you to Bahamian TV for the use of this little piece. Anthony, this is what I was telling you about. Check it out.
This is a kerosene lamp, what my mother used to use way back in the days, you know, to see to go to bed, to plot, to do other stuff with, because there wasn't no electricity when I was growing up. No electricity at all. You had to use a kerosene lamp. At first, they would take this off, fill it with kerosene oil, put it back on like this, put the wick in, screw it back on like this, turn the wick up and light it, make sure it's not smoking, make sure it's even and level, and then they would clean the shade, you know, with a piece of cloth, and then they would rest it back on. If the mother say, well, Jane, out the lamp, she would go, and everyone would say, good night, mommy. This lantern here is similar to the lamp. What they would do, they would screw this off, put the kerosene in here, take this up, and light the wick. Put it back down. Make sure it's even, it doesn't smoke. And they would use this for crabbing in the night. Also, in the night too, to see. In the house, this would be the light. This is an old Singer machine. Way back in the 60s before I was born. They used to use this to sew the basket on. This was a foot pedal for the sewing machine. And it's called Singer. This is a hopper, what they used to use to pump the oil in from the drummer. Come to the shop, 1 gallon of kerosene oil. So the pump would go in here and you would pump the oil in here. And when it's full, you take it off and you put a cover and you take it home to your parents. You better don't waste it because you'll be in trouble. When we were growing up, we had no flush toilet. So we had to use this. This is a slub bucket. This is a face pan. This can be used to wash your face in or wash your hair in. Fill it up with water and wash your hair. Wash your hair with Zest soap. In those days, no shampoo, so you had to wash your hair with Zest soap. This is a grass pillar. This make out of bay grass from the beach. And you would put it on the old before time bed to lay on and fix it. You would fix it real good so two children can lay their head on it like this and sleep at night. This is an iron, old antique iron, what they used to use way back in the days, in the 50s, in the 40s, before my time. They would catch a fire, put it on, let it heat, take it up, and they would use a wax that come off the beach, and then they would rub it like this. Then they would take a brown piece of paper and clean it. And after it's already clean, they would iron the clothes. This is a mill, what they used to grind the corn in. Way back in the days, before my time. What they would do, they would put the hopper on, put a basket on, make sure it's set right. Right underneath the mouth of the mill. They would put the corn in here and they would take right and left hand. Keep grinding it over like that until it comes fine. And if your two hand is tired, you take one hand. And if the one hand is tired, you get another person, your brother or your sister, whoever, and you start to grind it. And you count how much stroke. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you're tired going right, left, you go backward. This is naked wood. You boil this for tea. It's a good herbal tea, naked wood. And I also went and got this plant this morning. This is called broom bush. It's also good for tea too. It's a herbal tea. It's called broom bush. This is the coconut. I chop it open, and now I'm going to use the olden days old hickory knife to take it out. I would take this piece of coconut and grate it to make the tart. This grater, I borrowed it from Sarah Roll in Kurdish. She said it's an old grater. This grater was made out of iron can, lard can, and the hole was punched with a nail in it. So I would hold it like this. It's a new model handle. This is nickel. You use this to make necklace, and when we were growing up, we rub it in the road and play with it and bind one another with it. This is bay hop. This is Madeira bark pod. This is conch horn from the conch, and this is jacaranda pod, and this is the palm tree nut. All this stuff is used to make our native stuff. This is a sea fan to save the crab fat on. This is an olden days soda bottle. It's called Royal Crown. Very old bottle. Hardly anyone in Exuma can find this bottle. This is an old bucket. I got it from my auntie. She put it on the fire, the hot water to wash her feet. But it's still good. It's okay. And this is a pan kettle. It's all cleaned out. So what I'm going to do here, I got some top string. I just rub it together. Just tie it, to make a rope. So I'm going to draw some water to give the goat. Straightening comb they used to use to straighten the hair to make it soft, because there wasn't no palm in those days. Palm just come around lately. So they would put this in the fire, let it hot, but not that hot. They would take a piece of cloth, rub it off, and they would get your hair and straighten it. And what they would use Royal Crown grease, which still exists right now. And if there's no Royal Crown grease, they would use lard and kerosene oil. You didn't have much pencil, so you had to cut it in half to share it between two child. And then you would sharpen it with a knife because there wasn't no sharpener. This is a Milo Butler book. You would take this book and cut it in half to share between two children. And then they would write your name on it. This basket was made by Naomi Roll out of Stroud Manor. She is a straw vendor in Georgetown. You would put the book in here. You would hold it in your hand like this and you would walk to school bare feet if you didn't have the shoes. So you go to school bare feet. You come back home. And when you reach back home, you tell your mother if you had any homework or whatever. She look at your book and she say, "Child, good job. You don't mess your book up today because, child, I can't afford no more until the mail come because it only come once a month."
Thanks, Janice. I'm Siobhan Turnquest, Bahamian TV. See you next time.
All the flowers, 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 all the flowers.
Thank you, Bahamian Television. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Wow. Wasn't that amazing? I told you you would enjoy that. Judging by the reaction on Facebook, you guys were obviously touched by that stuff. Let me share some of the comments with you. T.F. Richard says, "George, so you remember the ice trays with the dividers for making ice?" Yes. Shh. I remember that very well. I remember that. Anthony DeRig says, "Enjoying that, George." Nice. I knew you would, Anthony. That's why I mentioned your name at the top of the program. John Kennison says, "Clothes scrubbing boards." How many of you remember that? The board, you put it in a big pot, pan, whatever, and you scrubbed. Yeah, I remember that I had to do it. Sharon Elizabeth Roberts says, "I had all those. The first time I saw electricity, I was 10. You actually saw electricity, Sharon? I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I use electricity a lot, but I've never seen it. Send some for me, please." Anyhow, she says, "The first time I saw electricity, I was 10. My job was to clean the shades every morning. I have a Singer machine, foot-hand machine." Yeah, I remember that. You had the pedal, man. Those things would be priceless today. Priceless. I don't see them around anymore. Margaret Francis says, "It wasn't just any kerosene lamp. You had to have a home sweet home kerosene." Yes, Margaret. Written right there on the chimney, I guess you call it, on that glass. Yes, I remember that very well. And then she goes on to say, "Yeah, Sharon, experienced all those too, including the sludge bucket." You got me on that one. Sludge bucket. You got me there. Carla Ray Briggs says, I have a coal pot iron just like that. Up to last year, I saw one of those somewhere. I think it was in Grenville. Margaret says, "Good upper body exercise." Carla says, "Oh my dear, I lost a lot of skin from my thumbs grating coconut for food, candies, and for Granny to make coconut oil." Been there, done that. You know, even on the washing board that, who was it? I think it was John, the scrubbing boards that John mentioned a little while ago. It's kind of hard on the knuckles. I remember that very, very, very well. Carla also goes on to say, "That Bahamian accent brings back memories of my childhood." Margaret says, "I remember Royal Crown Cola. In fact, as kids, we called all sweet drink bottle cap. We called all sweet drink bottle caps a crown cork. How many of you remember Sky High, Red Spot? Yeah, I used to make that stuff right next to my where my grandmother lived in Caruth, Grenville. Veronica Sandy says, those were the good old days. Benedict Cador says here, the jukin board. Yes, Benedict, I was trying to remember. Glenn Andrew Mark said, do you remember Masanto? Yeah, little green bottle with some kerosene in it, and what do you use, bag or paper at the top, and you lit that like a torch. John says, a closed mangle? You got me on that one, John. You got me on that one. Folks, yeah, it was great watching that. And once again, thank you, Bahamian TV, for the use of that. There you go. I can't believe it. Can't believe it. I'll tell you what I can't believe. This abbreviated program, which was supposed to last about half an hour, has now gone an hour and 6 minutes. Yeah? Yeah. Lord, you taught me things about me I didn't even know. You're the great provider. Thanks. Let me take one quick little break here and we'll come back and wrap it up. Don't go, don't go, don't go. You know what? I can feel it. It's going to be a great, great, great weekend. Hey, folks, thank you so much for sharing your morning with us this morning. I'm going to leave you with a few words which will probably help to make the weekend even greater than even I could imagine. Yeah. Here we go. This is a reading. Yesterday we read something from the 37th Psalm, down near the midsection of that psalm. Well, this morning I want to read you the very first 4 verses in that psalm. Psalm 37, 1-4 says, "Do not fret because of those who are evil, or be envious of those who do wrong. For like the grass, they will soon wither. Like green plants, they will soon die away. Trust in the Lord and do good. Dwell in the land and enjoy safe pasture. Take delight in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart." Psalm 37, 1-4. With thanks, my dear friends, time to pull the curtain down. It's been a great morning. This is going to be up on Facebook momentarily, and a little later on also on YouTube. George Grant, sending God's blessings your way. Please remember to join us, I beg your pardon, on Sunday morning at 9 o'clock for the next edition of Sundays with George Grant, God willing.